All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. If you're here live, thank you for being here live and watching and tuning in. And some of you guys are already in the comments. If you're watching the replay, hope you enjoy this. This is going to be a good topic, good conversation as usual, and some great fragrances to consider if you're into considering things. First of all, just want to see who is here. I see some usual suspects. Joel, always good to see you. Hope you're doing well. As usual, go ahead and chime in with your scent of the day. Confused Boat Lake, what's up? Cedar Bois, can't go wrong with that all year round. Who else is here? I see Cody's here wearing Signature Royale. Man, you don't see a lot of people wearing that one. And admittedly, I haven't worn it in a little while, but I did kind of revisit it this year and was just reminded how good that is. So I need to give that some more wear. That's another one you can kind of pull off year round as well. Fan Your Flames a couple days ago. Good stuff. Yeah, that was in my fragrance horror stories video today. First time I wore that was a nightmare. It's been good now though. Jonathan, what's up? Vetiver from Guerlain, classic. M7, classic. I don't wear that enough. I got a bottle. I just kind of look at it, but it's beautiful. Good stuff. Let's see. Fragrance Induced Coma. Good to see you as always. I'm a savage, apparently. Do elaborate, but I'm proud to be a savage in whatever way you mean. Yes, indeed. As you guys already know, we are going to be joined by an extremely special guest, esteemed guest who is no stranger to this channel. Heck, you were probably watching him on his channel last night, as you should be. And I'm just thrilled to have him back. I'm glad we've been able to do 2 live streams in 2 weeks, which is not really exactly what this year's looked like. I think we did that earlier this year, but we just have not really linked up as much as we would like to. But we're just going to revel in the moment and be grateful for the time we do have. And we hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to stop wasting any more time, and I'm going to bring in my friend, the one and only, the hardest working man in FragCom, one of the greatest I put those 2 words together, connectors and networkers. You're a connetwork, my friend. I'm going to bring in on that.
I love it.
Connetwork.
That one had my chair roll back. Yes. Belly laugh. My Lord. That was good. I'm red and everything. That was great.
No, man. Welcome to the channel. Ross, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, my friend. It's always fun when we get to do these. Shame on us. Normally we do, I would say, between both of our channels, around a dozen a year. Mm-hmm. We've probably at best done half of that this year.
Yeah.
Life happens fast, folks. You know?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And things change and we roll with the punches.
Good to see a lot of familiar names in the chat.
Yeah. Again, I'm just kind of scrolling through just to see everyone who's here. Jason Young, always good to see you.
Oh, hilarious thumbnail, by the way. Speaking of your fragrance horror stories.
Thank you.
The random girl holding her nose. That was great. I laughed my ass off when I saw that.
That one took me
he's changing his thumbnail style. All right. I like it.
That one took me literally 30 seconds to make because I just knew
that's also one that's like it literally caught my eye immediately when it was in my feed.
I just knew what I wanted to do.
I'm looking for your videos. Like naturally, I'm gonna catch it easier when it's yours, but it's different. It's a different thumbnail from what you usually do. So
yeah,
I would like to think that video is probably on that alone going to do pretty well for you.
It's doing pretty well. Yeah. What I've loved the most is just everyone's chiming in with their own stories, and some people got some funny mess ups, man. We all have
been there.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I guess on that topic, I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you feel like you can think of one story off the top of your head of a time where you wore a fragrance you love and maybe just sprayed a little bit too much of it, or wore it in the wrong season or wrong place, had some kind of negative feedback or anything like that?
I got my heart broken with a personal favorite of both of ours, and it's actually in your list, with Overture Man.
Okay.
You know where this is going. My wife hates that fragrance, and it's burned in my brain the first time she smelled it. She said, that is literally the worst thing I've ever smelled you wear. Please don't wear that again. That smells terrible. She said it like this, like softly, like with puppy eyes, like, please don't wear that again. That is, can you please go get that off?
It's like one of those, like, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Dude, it's like, oh, I think it's so good. The first time, for those of you who don't know, the first time I smelled it, we were in Chicago. We do our blind smelling rates when we get together. He hit me with that. I fell in love with it. Oh my God, this is amazing. I actually was hopeful he would bring it because I had recently saw him talk about it. I was like, ooh, I think I'd like that. Turns out I loved it. Had an opportunity to get a tester from Unaverage Joe Anthony, when he was working at Bloomingdale's for a really good price. First time I spray it at home. Literally ripped my heart out of my chest. I was,
man.
I can like never wear it. I have this bottle that's unwearable in my household that I think legitimately maybe one of the 20 best smelling fragrances in the 2,000 plus bottles I have.
I feel
heartbreaking.
You there.
So that's kind of it's not necessarily a horror story as much as just severe heartbreak.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, it's everything wrapped in one. That's horrible, unfortunately. Yeah. It is, because you're right. It's a fantastic fragrance. And I would say that there's a minority of partnerships out there where, you know, you guys watching, maybe you own it and you have a partner, significant other who's a female. And that's, again, there's a minority of those partnerships where the female or the partner likes that fragrance. I got lucky because Grace digs it. She's like, and she never can place what it is, but she's always moved by it. At least, you know, when I go easy on the trigger, like 2 sprays, I'm good. But I've heard a lot of stories like that, unfortunately. Of
she didn't even elaborate on why. It was just, it's that bad. Please take it off and don't wear it again.
Dang. I'm sorry.
Nothing. It's like it smells like an ashtray, because I could be like, oh, this is why. I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
Just bad. Don't wear
it. No word for it. Great. Yeah. I'd love to know
what that stands out for me. That was the obvious story to tell.
That makes sense. What is your scent of the day, my friend? What you rocking?
Now, this she does not feel that way about, fortunately. So may EJ rest in peace. God rest his soul. What a great man. Happy Land Studio, for those who didn't know. He would randomly just buy fragrances. True fragrance lover, an artist that happened to love fragrances, that decided to create his own, put his own creativity test. So he would buy stuff and just decant his bottles and send me chunks, like 30 ml of these bottles. Wow. And he did that with Mancera Amber Fever. I have one of his 30 ml Happy Land bottles that's almost full. It's got like 25 ml of Amber Fever.
Oh, wow.
And I don't wear it all that often, but Fragrance Buy had the Door Crashers for the Black Friday. So it was $44. And I was like, I was looking at what's available, and it's like stuff I have, 2 extremely feminine, like roses, whatever, and pink flowers or whatever. A couple like clearly way too feminine for me ones. And I was like, I was already buying stuff, and I was like, what the hell? I want to grab one of the Mancera Door Crashers. So I grabbed this for $44, even though I didn't need it. So that's going in the mystery package that's going out. That's part of what goes in the mystery package. Is somebody's getting like almost 30 ml of this fragrance too. Nice. So this is a sweet floral amber. This is a lot of caramel, a lot of rose jasmine kind of smell going, and amber with a hint of oak moss. It's kind of on the fresher side for being caramel sweet. It's really, really strong and cloying if you spray too much. I did 5 sprays today, and it was a bit much for like 2 hours before it calmed. Like I got to where I was getting for as much as I think it smells great, I was getting kind of tired of it. Like wishing it would calm down, because like it's just too much. I was not getting any nose fatigue. Yeah. And sometimes if a fragrance is really stout and your nose does not desensitize, it's going to be obnoxious. You know, that's why I always preach, guys, don't spray 15 sprays the first time you get a fragrance. Take your time with it. Start small and spray more if you need to later. Because prime examples like this, nobody wants what I just explained. Nobody wants that as their wearing experience. And it's beautiful. Now, it did calm down, and it's been quite nice. and I smell it just from wiping my neck. It's still very strong, but very underappreciated and underrated fragrance from Mancera because he's just got so many.
Yes, he does. That man does not leave his lab. He sleeps in there.
Yeah, I think he just like passes things up an elevator. Like, all right, sell it. He stays in the basement making fragrances.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I haven't tried that one, but I know you have all the gems anyone could ever have from Mancera.
I have like 48, 49 full bottles, and then I've got like close to 30 Montales at this point. I've got one of the bigger Pierre Montal collections on YouTube. I'm confident.
Yeah, you can.
I doubt it's the biggest, but it's one of. It's got to be.
You can open like a sniffing boutique. If anyone wants to try the house, they could just come discover it at your place.
Pierre Montal, I don't think there's any other fragrance content creator on YouTube that praises your work more. It's time to cut me a check, sir.
Yeah. Seriously.
Long overdue here, sir.
Oh, man. Yeah. Real quick, before I announce my scent of the day, I just wanted to address a few comments here. Sure. Nikhil asked, if I'm saying your name correctly, asked the question, how do you know when you really want to buy a full bottle after sampling something? I just recently sampled a few, but don't know when/how to pull the trigger. Very interesting question.
That's a great question.
Yes. Ross, I'd love to know what your take on that is.
I think the most obvious reason is if you empty said sample or decant and wish you had more, that's going to be the most obvious indicator. If it saddens you to run out and make those last few sprays in any way, like there's disappointment in it being the end, that's your biggest indicator. That should tell you enjoy it enough to where that's probably a sound couple dollars spent on a bottle.
Definitely.
I would say if it's a 2 ml sample and you're only 1 ml through it, you still don't really know. I mean, unless you're just the type that after one wearing, you're like, okay, this is for me.
Yeah.
But if you get to the bottom and you feel like you wish you had more, there you go.
Yeah. Some people move faster than others. But I'm that's reasonable. Yeah. That's reasonable for sure. You know, for me, when I read this question, what I see and read and, you know, just kind of notice is that there's something holding you back. And I would imagine that it's finances, it's money. It's like you're conscious of the spending. Like, am I going to spend this money? And is it going to be a wise decision to spend it, kind of thing? And the way I feel about purchases like this, first of all, presuming that you haven't had the experience that Ross just described. If you did, then I would just kind of follow what he said. But if you haven't finished the sample and are just like, oh man, I need more of this, then if you're hesitant at all, then I would imagine maybe it's a no. I feel like a yes is a yes, a maybe is not a yes, you know, because you don't really need it if you're not sure. You would have to ask yourself, why am I getting this if I'm not sure I want to get it? Is it just to add something new? Is it to continue the hunt? Is it to continue the dopamine hit of waiting for that package to arrive? Because I know we all love that. So you just got to get to the bottom. I mean,
I'm a terrible
example. None of us are exempt. So you just got to get to the bottom of you and your reasoning. So if money's not the issue and you're still not sure, then maybe it's not time to pull the trigger yet. And maybe time will tell if you haven't finished the decant, of course. That's
to build on that just a little bit, I think watching people that create fragrance content and we all amass gigantic collections at different sizes and different rates, it seems like a cool thing. It's really not. There's a method to it when you're creating content and there's monetary gain involved and monetization and write-offs and all these things. But if you're not doing that, you consume the content, you're just a lover of perfume, something, and he's an advocate for this. Something just needs to be really special and stand out to you. If like he mentioned, if you're unsure, if it's not a assertive yes, it's more likely a no if it's anything but that. You really, it's not something you feel like you need to have unless you just feel it's missing from your wardrobe.
Yeah, when you know, you know. It's almost intuitive. You shouldn't have to think like, do I want this? If you have to ask the question, the answer is probably no. And that's okay. Again, maybe time will change that. I did see Aldwin said, my wife doesn't love colognes. So I have to spray them on in the bathroom across the house to keep the peace.
That's unfortunate.
I just thought that was kind of sad, but also funny.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Anyway, we are well into this video. I want to thank you all for being here. I figured, why don't we get started with this topic? So as you guys can see.
One last thing, though. If I was to wear a sweet designer every day, my wife would be the happiest girl in the world. I know my wife's taste. She likes the sweet designers on me. We are a sweet designer fragrance household.
It's good to know. It's good to know what works.
So if I want to make sure she's like, ooh, just wear a sweet designer. It doesn't matter which one, all of them.
Done. Just check. I did actually forget to mention my scent of the day is Parfum. Can't go wrong with this stuff. I don't wear it that often, but more often than the fragrances in my lineup here, I would say. So that's why it's not among those. But as you guys can, you're going to say something.
No, I was going to say every time somebody asks me Cartier, I point them in your direction. I was like, I have two guys. If you want the Cartier guy, it's Justin Copeland. He's the Cartier guy on this.
Man, well, if Cartier wants to throw some dollars my way as well,
Cartier, it's time.
Yes. So as you guys can see from the title, we're talking about special occasion fragrances, and more specifically, these are situational fragrances. These are fragrances that Ross and I love. We love the smell. We love the wearing experience. However, ironically enough, we might only wear them once or twice a year. And a lot of the time, and I know Ross can attest to this, and maybe most fragrance content creators deal with this from time to time, we get comments from certain viewers who question our credibility, so to speak. And they'll say things along the lines of, well, you reviewers, you say you love these fragrances so much, but there's like hardly a dent in the bottle. And, you know, there's several reasons for that. And most of the time we may not feel called to respond and explain ourselves completely. But just to add some context and add a little bit of, you know, substance to that idea, for those who might be wondering how that happens, how reviewers like Ross and I can love a fragrance. Like, I love Pasha. I've talked about it. I don't know how many videos. I have no idea. Too many.
He's turned me onto it.
Yeah, I've had this bottle for like 4 years, and you'll see like there's not a ton. There's a little tiny dent, but not much. And the ones I'll show you here, it's worse in terms of the dent. It's worse. And the reason why is because, once again, they're fragrances that are a little bit situational. Either like we have to be in the mood for it, or we have to be going to the right occasion that feels suitable for us to wear it. In terms of its scent profile, in terms of its performance, just the overall vibe, you know, we want to be more thoughtful about those things. In addition to that, as reviewers, we're receiving bottles basically weekly, which, as Ross kind of described earlier, we don't necessarily recommend that to any regular person unless you plan on starting the channel and really kind of going head first in it.
And even then, it could be a money pit. Don't assume success.
Exactly.
And start charging credit cards and stuff. I've seen people do it. It's not a good move.
Oh, yeah, credit cards. You know, I have certain feelings about payments, but I'm not going into that right now.
We do that on a critical topic later. You like to do critical topics too.
Yes. So that being said, we're getting new fragrances all the time. We're wearing, testing new fragrances all the time. So there's always newness in front of us, meaning that the fragrances we know and love and have had a while, they get kind of pushed back, and every now and then we go back and reach and spray and enjoy. And sometimes we have these fragrances we love that we may just spray and sniff rather than wear. And that is totally valid. I'm sure a lot of people do that too. You have a collection of fragrances that you just love to maybe pull the caps and sniff them, or maybe spray them from time to time, but maybe not actually give them a full wearing. So because Ross and I try to wear something different every day, and because we have new stuff coming in every week, that is a recipe for fragrances that we say we love and mean it, getting overlooked or undersprayed, so to speak. So that is kind of the rhetoric behind this video topic. It is maybe a little bit more than it seemed. And
I'm starting to think you get more fragrances in than I do, because I feel like every single day your shorts video is an unboxing. It feels like sometimes.
I don't know. It's hard to quantify
No,
who's
I
getting more
definitely
or
get
less,
it. I
but
definitely buy way more.
yeah.
I'm just joking. I definitely buy way more.
Just that I've kind of just resorted to my shorts content being a lot of that. It's just a way for me
And
to
mine's what I'm wearing for the day.
exactly
95% of the time.
yes. So hopefully that answers some questions. We're happy to continue to chat about that topic as we go because it is kind of an elephant in the room. It's
Well, the
something
obvious is, as you would think, is the obvious, but apparently it's not that obvious. It's like, guys, do y'all understand that everything he said is accurate and valid, but couple it together with the ridiculous amount of fragrances we already have in our possession. Dents in bottles like this. That's why every time I talk about Seraphine Blue, I brag like, look at this, guys. I've got bottles that I wholeheartedly think are special that I've had for 5+ years that don't come close to this juice level. I just wore this much.
That's just how it goes.
This year I wore it that much. That's why I'm so proud of this, because this is not a thing. This never happens.
Functionality,
over
plays
and over and over and over. That just tells you how much it really speaks to me and my taste and my personality. So things like that are an anomaly with collections like we have with what we do. It's just a rarity. And then couple in situational appropriateness like today's topic. Oh God, you'll never see dents.
No, I don't know if we ever will.
No,
and at least not in our lifetimes with these fragrances.
No,
and
these
I know another thing that is at play with this idea is how much we spray when we do wear them, because that is a variability among people. And one example who is kind of the exception to this idea is Sebastian. He will put bottles up on camera and saying, yeah, I got this like 8 months ago and it's about empty. And I'm like, how are you wearing all of this?
He decants.
So he doesn't say that every time.
Yeah, he doesn't say that every time.
So
that's a misnomer too. Not everybody knows. They'll see a big channel that's got giant dents, and that's where they want to criticize. These people decant. Kuba sells decants. Chaos Fragrances sells decants.
Okay.
All kinds of people have their decant businesses as well.
Honestly,
they put their bottles to use.
Now that you mentioned that, I forgot that I knew that. I forgot that he had a business where he's bringing people over and allowing them to sniff stuff. But I guess it's not always in his videos. He's just hold it up and I love this stuff. And I'm like, man, I thought I was.
There's no way he could wear it. He's got a freaking entire floor of his home that's the perfume library. He's got one of the biggest collections like in the world.
Exactly. It's incredible. And so he had me scratching my head for a while. And Blaine, I did want to acknowledge your comment that you put up. I would think a content creator is only a handful of times a year that you could wear any of your favorites. Other time reviewing new products. We try to split it up as much as to make it even as much as we can. We do ultimately want to wear what we love, but we have an obligation and responsibility when it comes to our content. Anyway, how about we get started? Ross, what is your first?
We could keep going and going.
I know. This could be a whole different live stream of its own, but what you got?
So we might as well start with what you put in the thumbnail. This is beyond situational to where I bought it this year. I bought it blindly because I kept being told by viewers, I can't believe with all the Manceras and you love Iris, how do you not have this? And honest to God, I've yet to have a full wearing of this fragrance. I have done many test sprays. I have pulled this cap and sniffed it so many times. I just haven't had the right situation. We're talking about Mancera's Black Prestigium.
Okay.
So this is leather. This is oud funk. This is smoky. This is rose violet iris.
Man.
This is all the things of the slightly more challenging side of what Pierre Montal puts out as far as his dense florals and his animalic oud leather combos.
Wow. Dark.
And it is to die for to me. Didn't I send you a decant of this one?
I think you did. Swap? Yes. In fact, I'm pretty
not
sure
too long
you did.
after I got it.
I think you did send me a decant of that one. Yes.
Because I know you're not a big Mancera guy, but I felt like if there's ever one for you to try, this one's impressive.
And I think I do remember not being able to tell that it was a Mancera. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but this is some upper room kind of stuff.
The word elixir really fits this. Not for what the market has made the word elixir mean, but the way I would define an elixir fragrance. It's something like this: the richness, the depth, the ridiculous, unnecessary performance and behavior of the fragrance. But I don't want to sit here and say it's not the most challenging fragrance I have, but for a Mancera, it is. For somebody that's used to designer fragrances, it absolutely is. This is something you have to kind of work your way into. Again, it's not the most challenging. It's not the most natural, fecal, barnyard type of oud. But again, this is not for beginners. This is not for blue fragrance people and YSL wearers and stuff like that. This is something that I feel is not necessarily black tie only, but upscale for sure. I think a polo shirt's underdressed with this, honestly. I think it definitely needs at minimum an Oxford.
Okay.
Personally, I know Kara's a big fan of this one. It's low on
I'm seeing
right
that
now.
here.
Yeah,
it's strong.
This is something, man. Part of me wants to wear it to Christmas, but I'm going to be very casual for Christmas. It's just like I'm going to feel very I don't ever want to feel underdressed when I'm wearing fragrance. And I don't lack self-confidence. If you have great self-confidence, you can wear it, pull anything off. But I still feel like I'm not doing that's all of these. I don't feel like I do the art, the justice it deserves if I don't put it in the appropriate setting with the appropriate wardrobe.
I understand.
A good way to kind of set the basis for why these picks are what they are.
I totally understand. Yeah, I get it. It's you in a way you want to respect the personality of the fragrance. And yeah, you could pull it off in a variety of situations, but it is at its prime, at its optimal like presence, I think, when you really kind of meet it where it's at. So I think you said that very well. I agree.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with my thumbnail choice as well. And I'm gonna talk about this heartbreak of a fragrance here. Overture Man from Amouage. This fragrance was introduced to me by another reviewer who's not reviewing anymore, Corbin. He had me blind sniff it in a video we did years back, and I was
park.
Yes, yeah, one of those park videos, and I was blown away. And then he showed it to me, and I'm like, and it was on paper, and I'm like, I'm getting that. So I bought it not long after that, and at the time, it wasn't available in North America yet.
That's what I wanted to point out. Justin got this at a time when it was over 300 and overseas. Now you can get it for like 185.
I paid like
got it in stock like right now. I think
I paid like $330.
Yeah,
for this, and I think it is the most I've paid for a bottle. But I was like, I don't care. I'm getting it, and I think that was even a little bit under retail at the time, at least in terms of international shipping and that kind of price. It was some private seller who had a bunch of them. So guys, if you haven't tried this one yet, if there's a lot of fragrances that we'll talk about that we cannot recommend a blind buy. Maybe all of them, but this
I wouldn't recommend any of my five.
Yes. Scent wise, this is one I could not recommend. And I know there's a lot of people who watch my videos who said they have. Against my advice, they went and blind bought it. And I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen a mix of responses. No, Justin, you were right. I shouldn't have done this. Or, yeah, it's so good. I'm so glad I did it, And I'm like, cool, glad it works. I've also seen some people say that they like to wear this in the summertime, which gets me that face that you have.
More power to them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I ain't doing it.
Yeah, this cognac, spicy, smoky, animalic, resinous, woody fragrance. It is incredible. It is such a standout. It is everything about it. The aesthetic is just perfectly the way it is. Like this perfectly represents what this smells like. The frosted glass. I mean, every inch. Yes, every inch of this is perfect. I think it's what's her name? Corinne Vinchon, who did this one. She also did like Memoir and some of the Lineage, some of the newer ones as well. She's been with Amouage for a minute. It's so good. And I know a lot of people talk about the women's version, which I have a decant of, which is also lovely.
Shout out to EQ for hooking us up with those.
Yes. And admittedly, I still need to spend some more time with it. I think now is the time to really start breaking it out. Yes, beautiful stuff. So just a great pair of fragrances. I'm glad that they're still available as a part of Amouage's catalog. They haven't axed these. Hope it stays that way. But yeah, I can't recommend sampling it highly enough. Sampling it.
Definitely let your girl smell it before you buy a bottle.
Yes, please.
Don't be like, now look, I paid $70. I stole it. It's a tester with a little BS tester cab. Joe Anthony he texted me. He's like, I think I'm gonna sell it in a Facebook group. I said, screw people on Facebook, sell it to me. I'll never forget. This is exactly what I said. Screw them, sell it to me. He's like, oh, I didn't know you wanted it. Yes, how much do you want for it? He said $70, bro. That's all I paid. You want it PayPal? You want it Zelle?
Whatever you want.
How much do you need for shipping? Please.
I'm sending it right now.
And I can't wear it. I wore it to the XXX Royale XXX launch party. Only time I've worn it. Yeah, because the wife couldn't come with me. That's why I wore it. And I got some compliments with it too.
Of course.
Not from her.
You know, there's a part of me that still is holding out hope that maybe time will change things. And
look, I've let a little over close to 2 years pass.
Okay.
One day I'm gonna give it another go just to see. Because you never know. Now, it may be burned in her scent memory though. That's the only problem, where immediately she's like, oh, I told you not to wear that anymore.
You know what? And I've heard that with women in general, their olfactory everything is just way more keen.
Forget. You ever heard all women are elephants? They have memories like elephants. They don't forget anything.
And especially when it comes to scent.
Yeah.
Like Grace is that way. I'll pull out something. It's been at least a year since I've worn this. She's not going to know. I'll spray it on. Oh, is that? And I'm like,
how?
And she's like, I don't know. I just knew. I'm like, okay. Anyway, what's your next pick, Ross?
Before we dive into that, real quick, I want to see if you remember this. Demir Reminer, I believe. He said, hello, Justin. Interlude 53 or Interlude OG. It's a purple, pinkish, magenta like D is his avatar. Okay. It's a few comments up from the bottom. Do you remember when I used Interlude 53 in a video? Do you remember what it smells like? Because I think one of the very first, it was actually at George's office.
Yes, was that
around the table? It was that video.
Yes, that's what I'm remembering now. I do kind of remember. I remember liking it more than I liked the original Interlude, but it had been a few years since I tried the original Interlude, so my memory of it was all I was going off of. But I do remember finding it way more smooth, especially at first spray. It was way less, in your face with that oregano and stuff.
But it was a lot of oud, though.
Yes, much darker, much more bottom heavy.
Very dark.
Yes.
And crazy strong. That's what I remember about it. A lot of oud, really, really strong. I found the word I always use when people ask me is that fragrance is impressive, not wearable for me in my life. I'll never own a bottle, but I do believe it to be a very impressive creation.
I feel the same way. Pretty much about all of them. The Black Iris, the OG, beautiful.
I don't want a bottle of none of them. I've had decants of all of them. I think the original is my least favorite. I think 53 and Black Iris are much more impressive, but like the greatest creation and least wearable to me is the 53.
It's beautiful stuff. Yeah, I agree. Real quick, Crunkles, what a name. Would you say Overture is similar to Herod? Not at all. No.
Herod's almost like a blue fragrance if you compare those two. As far as mass appeal, oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, Overture is I don't want to say artistic, but it's like put some hair on your chest. That kind
it's real. It's way more edgy, a little prickly.
Good word.
Yeah, not the same. Sample first.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's definitely not one I would ever say screw it, just buy it. I don't care if you get it for $50. You might waste $50.
Yeah, seriously. What's your next pick, Ross?
It's impressive, but not everybody thinks that. And I don't give me my wife, So my next one, I was telling Justin this backstage, which he already knew this. This is what I believe to be, of everyone I've tried, because Oud Rose is done to death. It's more done to death than the blue fragrance genre, I think. There's so many. There's houses that have many oud roses just under their one umbrella. This is the smoothest, most beautiful oud rose fragrance I've ever smelled. Very, very wintertime, evening, appropriate, dressy occasion, situational for me. I've worn it maybe 3-4 times.
Mm.
It even comes with a card that advises you not to spray it on garments because it will stain from its natural color. Roja Parfums Amber Oud. Look at the plate. The plate's even discoloring and tarnishing.
Yes.
That is a natural color juice, guys. This I never wanted to test the theory. The card said don't spray garments, so I don't normally anyway, but I wouldn't dare with this. It's called Amber Oud, but it's very much a oud rose. It's rich, it's smooth, and you can tell the quality of raw material here is second to none. So smooth. His work is beautiful in the first place. I've only smelled one fragrance that I didn't think was good, and that was Hot Luxe. Literally, and it's with him. Anytime I've smelled one that I don't own, it's usually with him.
Yes, that one.
It's the only one I've never thought was a good fragrance. It's just I don't want to have that on my skin. Get it off. But literally everything else, I find magic in a lot of his creations. It's old world perfumery with the way he creates. A lot of notes, heavy bases, very complex bases. And this smells much more simplistic than the note pyramid would lead you to believe. And it's because of the balancing in this blend that it's just so smooth. Smooth, I think, is the best word to describe this fragrance. And I know you have it. Please weigh in on your thoughts as well.
Yeah, smooth indeed. I find that the oud in there is a little bit more on like the medicinal side. Nothing funky about it. No sharp edges. Definitely smooth. The rose is just kind of just wrapped up in there. It's
a
sweet,
sweeter,
it's warm. Yeah,
sweeter.
Totally. Rose. Beautiful stuff. And for as dark as it is, at least the way it looks, it's not too dense. There's still something kind of airy about it, for sure. And that's just Roja. Like there's nuance, so everything doesn't just hit you at one time. It's not this overload. There's breathing room to the scent profile, and it kind of dances a bit.
For someone that has more situations than I do to wear this is one of those rare times, I would say, for the like $400 or $500 it goes for at discounters. For some people, I would advise after you sample this is one that's worthy of saving up to buy. There's not too many really expensive fragrances I would say that about. And I mean, honest to God, it was sent to me. I would not buy it because I'm so situational with it. The 7.5 ml would be perfect for me.
Yeah.
I can make that last a long time. For those that would have more the type of wearing experience with it that I have, that's what I would advise.
Yeah.
The 7.5, that's the money spot right there.
And that's what I have.
A long way.
Yeah.
3 or 4 sprays. It's extremely long lasting. It's a sillage monster for being nice and airy, like we spoke on. This is a less is more fragrance.
Yeah.
You don't want to overwhelm with a profile like this.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah, and I know they I also have from Decant X, the Decant site, the I think they call it the crystal version. It's like the clear
the one that doesn't have this color.
Yeah, it's just perfectly clear. Scent is identical. I'm like, I don't know how you guys did that, but cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they managed to make it identical. That's they clearly did something to remove the dye or to re-dye it.
Yeah,
make it clear,
whatever they did. But yeah, it smells really wonderful.
Buddy said personally he doesn't like Amber Oud at all. It's just a copy and paste of countless other better ones.
Hot take.
All right. Very hot take to me for sure. Hey,
good stuff.
Everybody feels the way they feel. I ain't mad at it.
You know, you urged me to do this as my next pick. And it's very much in the vein of Amber Oud. I mean, I wouldn't say they smell the same, but it has some similar what's the word? I don't know, like just characteristics, just how it comes across. Not necessarily they smell identical, but the feeling of it is similar. And it's from Fragrance du Bois, and it's Sahraa. And it's also dark.
Oof, yeah, it is.
I think this one is it Christian Provenzano, maybe? I don't remember who. I'm looking it up now. It doesn't look like it says, at least not on Troll Grantica here.
Hey.
No, it's not. No, it's Francois Merle Baudouin. I don't know who that is.
Well,
anyway, so this one, I remember being surprised when I first smelled this, and this was sent to me by, I think it was Max Aroma. They sent this to me. This is a fragrance I would easily say, I think it retails for almost $1,000. I think you can find it discounted.
They're so expensive.
Around the retail price of Amber Oud, honestly. Something
a lot of their
like
stuff
that.
I see like fragrance by their $500-$700 a bottle.
So I can easily say it's overpriced. This is stupidly overpriced.
No, however, one of your other picks I think is even more stupidly overpriced.
I agree. Yes. And like Ross, a fragrance that I would not buy myself. I would not have bought this. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I'm glad that I have it because it's given me a chance to get to know it and to recommend it as a sample for those looking for a high quality oud rose. If you're not looking for that, then of course you can pass it on up and that's fine. But it almost has this cotton candy like sweetness to it, which threw me off because I was expecting like dark, like edgy. I sprayed. I'm like, this is like kind of sweet and dainty in a way. But as it sits, there is this richness to it, kind of ambery. I think there might even be amber in here. Juicy in a way, kind of fresh-ish when you first spray it. There's like a touch of citrus when you spray it on, but it becomes pretty sweet and woody in the same way. I feel like it's a similar oud treatment with this one. It's not super upfront, maybe a little bit more.
You find that's a bit medicinal?
A little bit. Yeah, not dry or very, very like, it doesn't seem to really characterize this scent super strongly, but it's definitely a backbone of it. So it's nice stuff. I can't say it stands out from all other oud rose fragrances out there. It's just really well put together, but ultimately doesn't smell completely unique in the genre. But it's really, really good. And it's something I wear maybe once a year. Again, that's why it's in this.
That's about what I do with Amber Oud, about once a year, this time of year.
Yeah, I don't wear it much. In fact, the first time I wore it, I choked myself out. No one else, I think I only did like 3 sprays. And I just didn't like the experience. I was kind of struggling. And it took me some time to come back to it, maybe another year, honestly. And then I did it differently, maybe 2 sprays max. And I was like, okay, this is cool.
We're pretty seasonal too.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have so many, it's like, why not put them in the most ideal settings?
Exactly. Why not?
Might as well put a method to the madness.
Yes, exactly. All right, Ross, what you got next?
So my brother has a wedding on Mother's Day, actually. And my wedding scent, now look, not the most challenging fragrance, but I only wear this at weddings. I've sprayed it casually once. I've only worn it casually one time. This is a personal favorite of both of ours. If you like Tuscan leather, you will like Bacio Immortale.
Man,
it's so good. I prefer it to Tuscan leather.
Yeah.
I feel it's a bit more fruity. It's a little bit smoother. It's not as edgy of a spiciness. Tuscan leather's goated. I'm not going to knock Tuscan leather ever. You won't hear me say a bad word about it. But I do prefer this. Having this makes me have zero desire to own a bottle of Tuscan leather.
You would wear that 100 times before you wore Tuscan leather. If you had them both.
Absolutely, yeah. And that would be 100 weddings. I'll never go through the bottle, but this is what I wear it for. I already know when my next wearing is going to be. May, it's either 11th. I think it's the 11th, May 11th, Mother's Day. That's when they're getting married.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be wearing this standing in the wedding party.
Love that.
Smelling great with a tailored suit because I'll be pretty shredded. I'll be about 2 weeks out from the stage. So definitely not the current weight.
They better watch out then.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm going to be the dude that can't eat the wedding food. I'm going to be the dude, having to warm up my meal prep. So my brother's like, do we need to accommodate? I'm like, no, I'm going to bring my food. As long as I can warm it up.
Yeah. No, you do what you got to do.
But guys, if you have Tuscan leather, you clearly don't need this. No, it does not smell like ombre leather. Ombre leather is kind of a little brother in many ways. It doesn't have the same level of fruitiness. This is straight up raspberry. It's elegance. It's class. It's masculine. It's modern masculinity without loaded down with synthetics, And I don't know. Ever since the first time I smelled it, I was like, that's for weddings. And that's just what I've done with it ever since I got the bottle. It's one of the older style bottles, as you guys can see.
Yep.
Long, but the older style atomizes. This is original stuff. Justin remembers these. You know, that's our Triumph. This Bacio Immortale and Triumph of Bacchus.
Yep.
And what other one? Brevito della Caccia. They're the old style bottles. The ones I have. Yours as well, I believe. Huh?
Yeah, at least for the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. This is magic, guys. If you like fruity leather, it's the best one in my collection.
One of the most authentic raspberry notes I think I've smelled in any fragrance.
It's beautiful. And it's just screaming out of this atomizer.
Yeah, it's lovely stuff. And it's like there's enough edge to make it interesting, but it is so approachable. And I think that combination makes it extremely classy.
And I'd like to throw that word smooth out here again.
Yes, very smooth.
Much smoother than Tuscan leather.
Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm going to turn on the light. It's got dark in here real quick.
No worries. Good to see the bishop.
Yes, I see Jared is in the house.
Sidewalk Bank says, fragrance makes life better, by the way. I agree.
Totally agree with that. It's the cherry on top. Okay. Let's see here. What do I want to do next? Jared, yes, please make sure y'all hit that like button. It's
a pretty good crowd. I see we got 239.
Yes, thank you all for being here.
Thank you guys.
My next pick here, this was Love at First Sniff. And strangely enough, I think it's kind of hard to find. It's not discontinued, but I see comments, a lot of people, every time I put this in a video, someone comments saying, hey man, I really want to try it, but I can't really find it. I'm like, it's weird, but it's still in production. I don't know if that's still the case. It might be readily available, but from
fragrance.
What's that?
So I'm curious which fragrance. I don't know what you're about to hit us with.
I feel like I've had you try this. I don't remember now. Halfeti Cedar.
Yes.
From Penhaligons. And I can easily say that as someone who subjectively loves this fragrance, I can objectively understand why someone might not. It is stuffy. There's something that feels like an old, like 100-year-old library. There's something about it that feels dusty and stuffy and like kind of like just like an old person lives there. I don't mean that in any derogatory way, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There's just something dry about it and just kind of almost suffocating, especially if you smell it up close. So if you are going to sample this, I cannot say enough. Do not spray it on a blotter and or your hand and then immediately put it up to your nose.
You always want to kind of waft around anyways. Just kind of let it fluff at you. Just kind of waft a bit.
Let it come to you. If you are interested and you're like, ooh, I like what I smell, then I'm going for more. But this stuff, man, it's so opulent. It's just like there's a lot packed in and there's really no breathing room. It's dense. So as per the name, cedar wood is a big player here. Dry, peppery, very
cedar
dry.
Wood, though. Not that sharp, cheap crap.
No, this is real stuff. It's very dry, like one of the driest woody fragrances.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a nice bit of balance here. There's some booziness, maybe like a rum or something, some peach, maybe some other fruity notes, some dried fruits. So almost there's this like prune-like feel to the fruitiness, all while being kind of juicy at the same time. And maybe, I don't remember what else. Maybe some smokiness, incense. I don't remember exactly. But man, this stuff is...
I remember it being a smoked cedar.
There's a little bit of smokiness, yeah. It's beautiful. And I don't wear it all that much.
For you after.
What's that?
I got a fun story for you after.
Oh, yeah.
And that fragrance.
No, please. Yeah, go for it. I'm pretty much done.
So when we went to Scotland, we had a layover. It was when I went to Louis Vuitton and sprayed Ombre Nomade on my hand and learned after 45 minutes that the one spray on my hand was obnoxious and had to wash it off. And we passed by a Penhaligon store. And even George relates Penhaligons to you. He's like, oh, Justin likes Penhaligons, right? You should take a picture and send it to him. I'll never forget. We were passing by. I was like, and I told him what time it was for you. I said, he's still sleeping. So I don't know if he'll see it yet. It's 5 a.m. for him right? Or like 4 in the morning, something like that. We were in
Yeah.
London at a layover or something like that. I think it was like
Okay.
4 or 5 in the morning for you. But just rant, not the most funny story, but like a lot of people relate Penhaligons to you because this was during a time when you were talking about this fragrance pretty often.
Yeah.
This was 2 or so years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when it was coming up in a lot of topics for you. So
Yes.
I guess George just happened to stumble across some videos sometimes where he was seeing you recommended, where he was like, "Oh, Justin likes them, right? You should take a picture of the store." Like, oh yeah, I'm sure Justin cares to see the picture of the store. But
oh my goodness,
fun little tangent for you.
I love that. No, I'm honored. I see this comment. I sold my bottle of Halfeti Cedar as soon as I smelt it. Oh my God, that was the fastest sale I've done. And the person that bought it from me loves Cedar, and guess what? She almost threw up too. I'm telling you guys,
blind buying is a dangerous game, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling y'all, I say it in my videos, like, I love this stuff, but you might not. And here's why. So you've been warned, do what you will. Yeah.
We're all big boys and big girls. I say it at the end of it, almost every video now. Big boys and big girls, spend your money however you want. I'm just telling you what I think is the best course of action. You do as you choose.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I see Scott is in the house. Good to see you, Scott. Thanks for being here. Okay, Ross, what you got next?
So this is a new release for this year. I think it's one of the best niche releases of the year. We have another leather-forward fragrance here. I am, in fact, bringing this one to Christmas. I do plan on bringing it. Very dark leather. You have this bottle as well. Smoky, rich, very just dark, resinous, a little woodsy. Toni Iommi Deified. I'm a fan. I'm such a fan.
That stuff is good.
I'm gonna be underdressed for it, but I just really want to wear it because you know how it is. Everybody watching this knows. Everybody watching this live stream currently is the cologne guy or gal in their family.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to family get-togethers and they know this about you, they expect you to show out. At least that's my family. They've told me this. They expect me to show out with something they've never smelled before that smells amazing. I quote, "You can never not smell amazing." That's been said to me. So I got to hit them with stuff like this because I need something for Christmas Eve. I need something for Christmas Day. That's 2 gatherings for Christmas with the family. Yes. So this is probably going to be Christmas Eve, and I'm debating on Amber Oud for Christmas Day. I'm debating because December is the only time of year I really wear Amber Oud.
Okay.
But you leather lovers, dark leather, almost gothic-like in some ways, I think would be fair to say. Should try this. If you like Monkey Special, that does not mean you're going to like Deified. They're
irrelevant.
They are not akin to one another because I know Monkey Special was a huge hit.
Mm-hmm.
Please weigh in. I know you have this as well.
Yeah. Oh, man. I just love, I don't remember all the notes, but there's an apple in there. And there's something about that fruity, sweet apple with
another bottle right here that's going out Saturday. My members voted on it. This was the main prize for the Hall of Fame tier.
Oh.
Yeah.
This
is an unopened bottle right here.
Somebody's winning big with this one.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yep.
That'll do.
Main prize gets voted on, and I try to be seasonal and do newer releases. And far and wide, this ran away with the vote. So a lot of people are into this one.
That is awesome.
More than you would think.
Yeah, that leather is definitely dark, but it's not too much. It's not like nose turning. It's not scary. You know, some stuff you smell and you're like, I am really interested in this, but I don't know how the heck I'm going to wear this. I don't get that feeling from that. It's
just enough fruit.
Yes.
Just enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. It's got a nice personality to it. It's very definitive. Definitely situational.
But approachable at the same time, I feel. I still think there's a pretty easy approachability to this one for as dark as we speak of it, you know?
I think I've only worn my bottle once so far, and Grace loved it. So I need to pull it out again. Okay.
Thankful.
Good
she knows I like leather, so she's kind of easier on me with the leather stuff. She's not a big leather fan. There's very few where she was like, ooh. I get that smells like something you would like. I get that now. That's I'll tolerate it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I know what that means. All right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
When she says that to me, I go.
Jared, thank you for the super chat, and it's great to see you. Appreciate you as always in every respect and aspect that you show up for us.
White Glove Bandit, one of my favorite humans.
Seriously,
you ever seen him on Dedrick's lives?
I have seen one. I saw when they did an Algabra thing.
So you've seen the White Gloves then, because if you've seen him on the live stream, you've seen the White Gloves. I call him the White Glove Bandit.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah. Love that. Okay. Next one here is from Roja. So we're circling back around. You know what this is, Ross.
Context for you guys. Had he not listed it in his description, that was my pick from Roja too. And I was like, oh, well, I can easily talk Amber Oud then. No big deal, because I feel the same way about Amber Oud.
This one is Diaghilev. And Diaghilev is it's a love it or hate it.
I think it's special.
When I first tried it, I think I had a travel spray that I got. And because I was super curious, I gave that a spray on my hand one day at home. And I think I wrestled myself for about 2 hours to not wash it off. Because I wanted to. Because I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, I should let it dry. I'm like, but no. And I think I did end up finally washing it off after a couple hours. I didn't sniff it at all again. After that, Roja surprised me with a bottle. And I'm like, but it'd been like 2-3 years since I had smelled it. So I'm like, well, let's see how the nose has changed. I give it a spray and I'm like, the nose has changed. Okay. I like this stuff. It is a sheep. It is dry and mossy, which I think might be kind of the thing that people don't love about it. Very dry and mossy.
Love oak moss.
Yes. But
I think that's the most manly note in perfumery is a good oak moss.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why you can find it in all these old masculine releases from the 70s and 80s as kind of like the focal point. But it's a mossy sheep with a fruity floral aspect. It's a fruity floral fragrance on top of a bed of dry moss.
It's like 50 notes.
Yeah, there's every floral, every fruit you can maybe think of.
All the notes. All the notes that aren't a beach fragrance are in it.
Yes. But once again, like Sahraa, I could not recommend you go buy this. I don't think I would have bought it, at least from my first impression. At least I got the sample, the travel from someone else. I think I bought it secondhand. So that was as far as I would go buying it. But if you see the price of this, man, it's at least 12. I don't know.
No, it's less than that from FragBuy.
Okay.
I was 700.
I was thinking retail, but yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like 1,700. Read 16.
Oh my. Oh, then the price is going.
So it's 548 from FragBuy.
Okay.
For the
100. Yeah, I can't see it.
I'm going to sit here and tell you, if you sample it and you love it, I think it's special. Maybe, but I would, again, 7.5 ml travel size would do the trick here, guys.
Yeah,
I agree with Justin. Had they not sent it to me, I would not. I'm not dropping 550 on a bottle.
Yeah,
I'm not. 300 on a special fragrance. I've done. He's done. That's different. There's a limit. There's a limit.
Yes. Yeah, and again, beautiful fragrance, but yeah, I wouldn't drop the money, but I would advise people to sample it if you're looking for something outside of your realm of comfort that you maybe been used to.
The rating on Parfumo, 8.3 out of 10, 777 ratings.
Wow.
Almost 800, and it held an 8.3 out of 10 average.
That's
impressive.
A high rating.
Yeah. And no breakdown.
I do know that Roja as a brand has come under maybe under fire, but I don't even think it's that serious. I've seen some scrutiny from people criticizing some of the fragrances that are very clearly related to some of Guerlain's fragrances. And I think the story behind that is that Roja worked for Guerlain for some time in some capacity. I don't know the validity of that story. I don't know the details of it, if it's true, but it would make sense if it was, because he has at least 3, 4, 5, maybe more fragrances that do resemble some
Vetiver
well-known
Parfum Cologne.
Yep, Vetiver.
Vetiver.
Definitely. This one is similar to, I think it's Mitsuko, which is a women's release, which I haven't actually tried. In
That's
fact,
what
I want
people are saying,
yeah. Danger is reminiscent to Heritage from Guerlain. And I have Heritage, and they are similar as well.
Yeah, but Danger's better.
It is. I think it's more wearable. It feels a little bit less old world, but Heritage is a great scent.
Are you talking Parfum Cologne or Parfum, though?
Both.
Because I like both better. I really. That's one of those fragrances that I'm so glad I have both versions.
Yeah.
Because they are different wearabilities and different personalities. Parfum is very situational. Parfum Cologne, wear it every day.
Yeah.
I know you like to wear that to dinner. I know that's a favorite for you and Grace for dinner, the Parfum Cologne.
Parfum Cologne. That's one of the first fragrances I wore. Like, in fact, I wore it the night we kind of started dating, which was really special. So every time I wear it, she remembers it instantly. And it's
women are like elephants, remember? Don't forget, especially with scent.
Yes, that's right. Let's see. I'm just want to make sure I'm not missing the comments. 3 mil. Yeah. I almost hope to hate it.
It is extremely complex. The note breakdown is wild. There's a lot of layers to it. The one that's really complex that I would say yes, spend the $250 to $300 on, that I almost feel like is an absolute must try from the house, is Burlington 1819. I feel like everybody should give that one a go. That's one I would say, yeah, that's a must buy from him. If you sample it and you like it, that's a bottle.
What a stunning fragrance.
Thank God it's not off the wall crazy like some of the prices. You can get it under $300 from Discount.
Yes.
Which it'll be one of the more expensive fragrances probably, but boy, is it special.
That's some good stuff, man.
What a special is a word I don't like to throw around a lot, but I would put it on that one.
Yes, for sure. Oh, it's so good. I think you're up next, my friend.
I have one left, sir. And for those of you that were in my live stream last night, I saved it for last night and said I was going to use it today as well. This is kind of a gem that hides in the house of Kajal Perfumes. This is animalic leather and jasmine. There's rose and violet listed, but it's all about the petally, fleshy jasmine. Saffron leather combo. A little bit of moss as it dries. Some in the live stream last night, like I saw Jim's was here. Jim's finds it a little too feminine. I can understand because it's so jasmine heavy, but my, is this special. And this is one that Heidi loves.
Okay.
Because it was the make your woman drool topic. Yasmina.
From
Kajal Perfumes.
Okay.
The color scheme is very fitting because it is super jasmine dominant.
Okay.
A bit animalic leather. Saffron gives a touch of spice and kind of really works well with the leather accord that's already there. And like I said, just a touch of oak moss that gives it a little bit more of a woody nuance than earthiness. Makes me melt when I smell it, you know.
Wow.
Very situational. This one's not a t-shirt fragrance by any means. This is you have something to do in the evenings. It's elegant. It's a very elegant fragrance because it's so white floral dominant. It's not fresh white floral. It's heavy metallic. So heavier. There's a freshness to it, but it's got some heavy bottom notes to it, you know.
Man.
Really good performance as well. And not a powder bomb like you would think. When I say rose, violet, and a lot of jasmine, not as powdery as you would think. It's pretty well balanced to where it's not overdone.
You know, wow. It's I guess it's surprising to me. It does sound like a little bit of a contradiction. This fragrance seems so kind of in your face in a way and has such a clear, like strong identity to it with this floral aspect. But the fact that you find it pretty wearable, at least on special occasions, and that Heidi really loves it too.
Yes.
I'm like, man, what a balance.
It is kind of a contradiction. That's a good way to look at it, actually, because it doesn't make sense the way I describe it versus what the note breakdown would tell you. The wearing experience is that of elegance, you know,
Yeah.
secure in your masculinity because it does lean feminine, but it's not a girly fragrance either. Again, moss, saffron, leather ground this. They are very prominent and pretty much dominant in this fragrance, with the jasmine, of course, being the star of the show. It's the center of the universe in this fragrance. I don't even smell rose. Rose is listed in the top. I don't even smell it. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my skin, but I think it's very special. 2 live streams in a row, 2 different topics. I saved it for last for a reason. It's one of the most special fragrances in my collection. I've worn this maybe 6 times. I've had it since like late 2019.
Okay.
I've worn it maybe 6 times.
Yeah, it's like almost once per year.
Not counting the random spray on occasion, because last night I sprayed it on my hand while we were in the live stream. Special, man.
Have you ever tried it? No. You know, I'm not a huge jasmine fan, depending on the treatment of it. Grace is definitely not a jasmine fan, but I'm really curious to see if it might be one of those that kind of hits you from another angle. You're like,
who kind of sold me on this? Robert, Fragrance Journey 01.
Okay.
He got this before I did. Shout out to Robert. And the way he described it as an animalic jasmine, I was like, that's different. And this was before I was like a big floral guy. And when I started working with Kajal, this was one of the first fragrances they just sent to me at random. And I was like, ooh, here we go. So it was very blind. Just like, here it is. Like it or love it, you got a bottle in your possession. Now check it out. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. This is part of what kind of guided me, like, maybe I should start exploring more floral fragrances. You know, this was one of those that kind of started walking me down that path.
Interesting.
And maybe that's part of why I feel the way I feel about it. Because like, you know, me with Iris, I'll take an Iris fragrance over everything. So
I know you like your Iris, and I get it. I love myself some good Iris too. My last fragrance here.
Here we go.
This one came to me as a result of a swap from a subscriber. He hit me up and he's like, hey, Justin, I have a proposition for you. And I'm like, what you got? And he was like, I'm pretty certain you have backup bottles. This was a few years back. I'm pretty sure you have backup bottles of Brass and Soul. Am I correct? And I'm like,
maybe.
You might be correct. What are you thinking? He's like, well, how about I swap you a bottle of this for a bottle of Brass and Soul? And he happened to hit me up at just the right time because I was looking for this and it wasn't all that available at the time. So I'm like, I can part with one of my many bottles of Brass and Soul for this. And it was Fahrenheit Lip Parfum.
God. Love it. Before you go into it,
yes,
Carlos, rest his soul, sold me on this, and it always stuck with me. In his review, he said it's almost the perfect designer fragrance. I think I've said that to you before.
Yes.
And I wholeheartedly agree.
Man, it is one of those fragrances, I think I've said this many times, that I hated when I first tried it. I bought a decant of it years ago.
And that's when you discovered the juice was green, right?
Yes. And yeah, I got this decant. I'm like, what the heck is this? This isn't Fahrenheit Parfum. But I smelled it. I'm like, it kind of smells like Fahrenheit, but it just smells like licorice and vanilla. And I was like, this is weird. I don't like it. I don't even know where that decant went. And then I spent some more time with Fahrenheit over the next couple years. And I'm like, I like Fahrenheit. I like this DNA. I want the Parfum. Because I just kept hearing about it more and more. There was this kind of like resurgence of hype for it around this time.
2020, I think.
Yes. So I was like, yeah, I want to get me a bottle of that. So he hit me at the right time. I got the bottle. It was a bottle that he had partially used, which was totally fine.
You'll never finish it.
No, never. And I don't know if you'll see it, but some people don't know that. Yeah, this juice is green. You see how it fills out the bottom and it turns a little green. Green juice. It's crazy, but good Lord. This stuff, it's not a designer fragrance. It
smells like one of their it would be in their private line, right?
It's a perfect designer fragrance, and it's not a designer fragrance. It kind of transcends that. I would not call it a mainstream fragrance, even though Dior is known as a mainstream designer house. This is one of those examples of, the bottle doesn't tell the story, unfortunately. It does because it is tied to Fahrenheit, which is also not really, I think it was mainstream for a time, but not really anymore.
It was groundbreaking when it came
really,
out.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time. It was for like now, basically, but in 1988.
They still sell a lot of bottles.
Exactly. There's a reason why it's been produced for decades. And I think this came along maybe 2012. In fact, this and DHP came out like real close to each other. And I'm like,
DHP was 2014.
Okay. Yeah, this may have been, it was within 2 years of that. And I was like, Dior really hit us with the 1-2 punch during that time, because these parfums, and we know parfum flankers are a dime a dozen these days.
2014, they came out the same year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, dime a dozen these days. But these two, I'm like,
damn, they came out the same year. Go ahead, Dior. Where y'all at?
And again, transcends designer, transcends mainstream, definitely tied to the original. That people say gasoline or petrol if you're in the UK. I kind of get that. It's never been the strongest descriptor for me for the DNA. It's violet and violet leaf. It is kind of a metallic like freshness. Some people say cucumbers, maybe depending on the
I've heard that too. I've never got that.
It depends on the treatment of it. If it is kind of an overtly fresh fragrance by way of violet leaf, then it's almost like cucumbers and ice water. I get that vibe. But in this case, in fact, I don't even know if there's violet leaf in here. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It is still in here.
Yeah, it's violet leaf.
But blended with, I think it's rum with vanilla and licorice, maybe some anise.
I think star anise is in here as well.
Yeah, there is some anise in here. Yes. And the things that I hated about it at first, I love about it now. It is rich and deep as far as like comparing it to the original. It's like you just took the bottom and you stretched it downward and just filled it out. It still has a little bit of the welcoming quality of the original, but it's immediately something just more. It's just
superior. More. I think it's superior.
And I don't wear it all that much. I might wear it once or twice a year. My wife loves this. In fact, I remember the first time I found out how she felt about it. This was before we were married. I had a performance that I was going to meet her at, and I was going to play that night. So I showed up, and I knew that I still wanted to film a video that day. I just had a busy day. I didn't get a chance to film, and I still wanted to try to film before the day's end, but I knew I was going to have to do it after the gig, which would have been late, like 11, 12 at night. So I wore this to the gig, and I see her, we hug, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, what is that? I was like, Fahrenheit Parfum. And I was not expecting her to love it. And she was like, that smells amazing. I've never smelled anything like that. She's like, that's Dior? Like, that feels like a niche brand or something that's not designer. I'm like, it's not designer, but so she loved it. So then the gig ended. I came home and I was like, what am I going to film? And I was like, why don't I just film a video about this? So that's what I did. I think I did a dedicated review to this fragrance, which I don't really do these days. And it's still, you can easily find it. Yeah, you can easily find it. And that was the context behind it. I just got inspired that night. I'm going to film a video about this because I'm wearing it. I'm loving it. I have this input I can include. And that was that. And
I remember the video. Now it's no Dior Homme Parfum versus Dior Homme Intense Decant with Beanie Justin. That's who's the savage. That's who the guy was talking about earlier. Is a savage. Beanie Justin is a savage.
Oh my goodness. Well, geez. It's fun as always. Obviously, you guys have some things to check out if you want to check them out.
There's a litany of questions that's just been
yes.
rolled.
Yeah. And I have maybe another 20 minutes. How about you? How are you doing on time?
Here as long as you want to be here.
Okay. So how about we take some time? If you guys got some burning questions,
Shout out to the 213 still hanging with us. We sure appreciate
thank you guys for being here. This is very commendable. I'm trying to scroll through and see what I missed in my over lengthy description of Fahrenheit Parfum. Is there anything that you
Jared said Beanie Justin is a legend next only to Custon Joplin.
Oh my goodness.
I agree, Jared.
All of these
no, because Beanie Justin was so innocent. Fragcom had not jaded him at that point.
Not yet.
It hadn't happened yet. This is 7-8 years ago, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Man, that was a different
Nothing like Justin doing reviews sitting on the grass in the park, and you know what I mean? That's the old days.
So yeah, just green behind the ears. Is that what they say? I don't remember how they say it now.
That's how you say it.
Yeah, that was me. Avlock, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate this. Favorite masculine office scent. Well, if we worked in offices, but I think we can conceptually come up with something.
I know what I used to wear often, things like Prada L'Homme Low. Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum EDP is a great choice here. I think that's extremely well-rounded for an office setting. And I do believe my king of the office, because everybody likes to say Prada L'Homme, I think the safest fragrance a man can spray for an office setting is Versace Pour Homme, personally.
Yeah.
The most inoffensive fragrance I think I've ever smelled. I really believe if somebody was to tell you they have an issue with their fragrance, they just need to get another job.
They need to get another job.
Yeah, they should just go hiring somewhere else.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man, if I were to pick one, I feel like I would want to go with the Fougère because you just can't go wrong with that masculine vibe. Man, there's so many good ones to choose from. I love Beau de Jour. That's a great pick for that. Just don't overspray it.
He's pretty stout, huh? My decant's been gone. I've been meaning to get a bottle for a couple of years. My decant's long gone.
Yeah, that stuff. It's like this came out in 20. What? Are you sure? Okay, because it has this old school feel to it, but it's rich.
But that's what Tom Ford's fragrance brand started out to be, was timeless men's classic profiles.
Yes.
Just done the way he wanted them done. You know, I commend him for doing that. He didn't reinvent the wheel with a lot of stuff.
No, he didn't need
made
to.
really good versions.
At the same time, he made some stuff that it caters to the past, it pays homage, but it's still modern, you know.
What about Grey Vetiver?
Oh, yeah.
Tom Ford. I have Grey Vetiver Parfum en route.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I finally bit the bullet because the price came down enough to where it's literally like $10 more than the EDP for a 50 ml. Because I've smelled it. I smelled it at Nathan's. Got it around the time it came out when I was still living in Colorado. The opening is richer, but it dries the same. If you have the EDP, wildly redundant. But for the money, I like the bottle more. The cooler looking chrome bottle.
Yeah,
but that would be any version of Grey Vetiver. I think would be great.
Yeah, you cannot go wrong. I'm glad they brought Grey Vetiver back. It was weird that they discontinued it. But it's back, and that's cool. Have you both always been well articulated? Something I've realized since starting content is the frustration of having a great clip and then having to do another take because I stumbled on my words. Oh, man. Well, you're talking to two guys who I think have very different filming styles in terms of our videos. Ross has, I think you've put this yourself, Ross. So these are your words, the gift of gab.
When you take Jake, I get mad if I got to refilm something. Legitimately, like cursing, pissed.
Yeah,
because I like to flow.
Yeah, Ross flows. Ross definitely flows. We mean,
filmed a lot shoulder to shoulder. We definitely know how each other operate.
Yes, for real. And for me, I feel like my videos, it really depends on the video. Some videos I script. Especially my more like critical topics, I script them. So I just have line by line, just like literally on my phone, sitting down here. So I'll read it, memorize it, say it on to the next, on to the next. Except for when I'm doing like a list. If I'm doing a list, then that's a flow. I'm not planning what I'm going to say about fragrances. And in which case, if I have to re-say something, I'll re-say it. And that happens quite a bit. You just don't see all the takes. If you look at some of my raw footage, it's kind of ridiculous. Depending on the day, if my brain is a little slow, then I'll be like, I got to take a second. Take your time and go. So it's all practice, you know, like, gosh, if I go back to my early videos,
we all cringe at our old videos, man.
Terrible.
Part of it.
Terrible. So yeah, man, I'd like to say it's not what it seems, but it's time. It takes time. We've been doing this a while, and it's a skill set that you build the more you do it. My cat is playing with a Christmas ornament that she pulled off the tree. I've been trying to get her to stop doing that. And we keep like moving them up. So you see all the ornaments just rising up.
The cat, you can move it as high as you want. That won't matter. Your cat can like vertical jump to the top of your refrigerator.
Seriously. So now she's just chasing it around. So pardon. Then, you know what? Let me just not deal with it.
So moral of that story, Austin, the more you do it, the easier it'll come to you. It's one of those things where when you're pretty well versed with what you're speaking on, you're just going to be able to flow a bit easier. At least that's how it is with me. There's no guarantees you're going to be exactly the way. I mean, not everybody's the same or operates the same, but that's what works for me. Is once I feel I'm pretty well versed in the fragrance, I can just start talking.
Yep.
You know? When it comes, like he's saying, with specific topics, talking points make sense so you don't forget anything you wanted to cover.
Yes.
And you don't get off topic. Like I can the downside to my flow, me liking my natural flow, is I can ramble. I can get stuck at some point and go longer than I should have. Those of you that watch my live streams, you know where I'm going.
Oh man, but it is, you know, I think it's a good thing to first of all just know yourself, and second of all to especially for you, Ross, the fact that your gift is flow. With awareness can come like refinement. I think sometimes, I mean, both sides have their challenge. Like for me,
for sure,
because I don't talk a whole lot, it takes energy for me to open up more and to flow more. But once I find it, it's fine. So we both have our own little challenges, but we just keep refining with time. It takes reps. The more reps you do, you refine your technique and refine your
We're
approach.
such a representation of a yin and yang, you and I.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yes. Does my cat have a favorite fragrance? My cat hates every fragrance that ever exists.
Farrah always lets me know if I'm loving on her, that tells me she likes it. If she can't stop sniffing the air, we have a good laugh all the time. Yeah,
that is so.
That's
cool.
how we know she likes what I'm wearing. Because I'm always wearing something, you know. Heidi too. Heidi wears something every day, you know.
Yeah. No, I get that. Let's see here. Any other questions, guys? Let me see if I've missed anything. I'm just scrolling up because I know there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot if you scroll up just a little bit.
Let's see here. Yeah, I guess I'm missing them. Wait, what is this? Oh, that was Overture versus Epic.
Ooh, I can weigh in on Epic and Overture.
Go for it.
Have you tried Epic?
I have tried it. I have a decant somewhere that I've tried once or twice, and I do enjoy it.
So Epic's my favorite. Reflection Man's a very close second. With Epic Man, now the creative direction has changed a bit for Amouage, but for the longest time during that era, Epic Man, I look at the base DNA for most of their fragrances during that time. It's resinous, it's spiced, it's smoked, it's woods, it's all those things. And if you find Epic Man a bit sharp, Overture Man is much more aggressive. Like Justin mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were here, it's a bit prickly. There's an edge to it. If Epic Man's a bit much for you, Overture Man might just be flat out too much for you. So obviously sampling is going to be your best friend here, but just know going into it, if Epic Man's a bit much for you, I I think it's a long shot that you're going to enjoy Overture Man, regardless of the profile. If that's an outlier for you about it being sharp, because this one's definitely got more of an edge.
Well put. Yeah, the little experience I have with Epic, I would easily say that it is much more approachable and wearable.
I think it's pretty mass appealing considering the profile.
Yeah, definitely. But it's still very Amouage. It's still a standout, but way easier to get close to than Overture.
Yeah, I think it's a much easier wearing experience.
Yes. Let's see here. Joel, how's Grace and the baby? Joel, Grace is doing well. She's just as healthy as ever. We're literally 9 days away from the due date, which is crazy. But everything's going well, so we're just riding it out to the end. Oh, Sir Siaj just popped in.
I was wondering when we might see him. Your most famous subscriber.
Yeah, and he might have been here for a while, and he just waited till this portion because that's what he does. He just comes in with the wrecking ball. If blind buying completely went away overnight and everyone sampled first, how much do you think the online negativity against fragrance reviewers would reduce? Is blind buying the fuel for the fire?
Nope. Because all it takes is for a brand to send a free bottle or somebody to have an affiliate link, and people get butthurt fast. It doesn't matter if they thought you were the most honest person ever. Boy, the moment you earn a commission or you got something for free, even though you're still the same person giving the same opinion with the same integrity, their opinion changes. They just assume you're not being honest because there was free product involved or there's commission earned if somebody buys through your link, which is understandable because that is the case with some people. They just want to make that dollar. But I can tell you for the two gentlemen on screen, the opinions have never been bought and never will be bought. That is a factual statement. We operate the way we operate, and we work with the brands that understand the way we operate.
That's right. Well said. You know, this is, as usual, this is a very poignant question. And honestly, my first thought is like, it should affect it, but it wouldn't.
Nope.
Because, you know, when people sample first, they still get mad because they're still going to blame us for talking about a fragrance that we say we like. And in sample form, they don't like it. Even though they didn't spend a lot of money for it, they're going to say, well, you were obviously lying because this doesn't smell good to me. And, you know, I wouldn't say that's the majority. That is the minority of people who can't really piece things together in regards to subjectivity and say, well, if I don't like it, then maybe it's possible that my experience is different from yours. So neither one of us are wrong. They just don't really piece that together. It's just this kind of one-track mind, like small scope view of things where it's like, you don't like what I like, you're wrong. Or you like what I don't like, then you're wrong. You're lying. And it's just silly. So that's all you see. So it wouldn't go away, unfortunately, because I don't think people spending money is the issue. It's the fact that we are getting free fragrances. We have the opportunity to make small commissions on the volume that we drive to these brands. And, you know, there's jealousy involved. People naturally there's no combating that. So I wish it had an effect, but it just wouldn't change a thing.
If you're a God-fearing man, just pray for him. Because you know, people take this content you're watching right here and now way too seriously. Way too seriously. I've said that. God forbid we actually like the fragrance we got for free. Yeah. Most fragrances are pretty good.
You know, at the end of the day, it's a greater issue than this. You know, people have to ask, people need to be critical with themselves. And I don't think critical thinking is common. common sense is not common. And to an extent, I don't blame people for being this way. Not everyone, but the people who are this way. I don't blame them because you're kind of given what you're given in terms of the input you have growing up from family, from the media, how you kind of piece your world together, how you piece your self-image together based on what you see, what you hear. You know, it's up to us to kind of decode and reprogram ourselves as we go through life. And some might even say like deconstruct in a way and just kind of like grow. And growth is tough and it's hard. And especially in a world where we're surrounded by crap, not even just from YouTube, but just you turn on the TV and you're being sold to it every moment. And that's just the way it's been for a long time. So if you're going to get mad at reviewers for getting free products, talking about what we like, being as honest as we can about what we don't like, and having an opportunity to earn a nominal amount of money from the volume we might drive on the products people are buying anyways, then you might as well get mad at the whole world. You might as well get mad at standard advertising, like at the way Google runs YouTube. By the advertisers can pay Google to run advert. It's like, are you going to get mad at YouTube, mad at Google? Like, I can't believe they're selling out. They're taking money from people to advertise to me.
Why is this large corporation trying to profit? Great question, sir. I don't know. Let me see if I can find that answer for you and get back to you at a later date.
So, you know, you got to arm yourself. Critical thinking never stops. You got to be analyzing what you see and trying to understand the messaging behind it. So if we're going to bring it back to YouTube, you know, I think it's clear, and I'm not trying to point fingers or name names, but it's clear to any critical thinking viewer what a person's intention is in terms of not what they're talking about, but how they're talking about it. I've done videos on this. If I got on camera and said, Pacha de Cartier Parfum is the most amazing masculine fragrance ever created. You can wear for any special occasion. You need to buy it. You need to just buy this because it is phenomenal and you're going to love it. And everyone else is going to love it when you wear it. So buy it. Link down below.
No, you got to be over the top. Got them dripping, fellas. I'm telling you, over the top.
See, I can't even do that.
I got to go there with it, right?
But,
you know, I can't fly honey traps like custom.
The alternative to that is this. Pacha de Parfum, man, this stuff blew me away. I did not expect to like this as much as I do. It suits my taste perfectly. It suits the functions that I wear it for super well. I love the way it develops. These are the notes, you know, blah, blah, blah. And man, guys, I just wanted to get this on your radar. Maybe check it out if this sounded interesting to you. If not, you can pass it on up. But if you do want to try it, there's a link down below. And then either we'd say on camera or say in the description. If you do want to support the channel, this link is an affiliate link. And, you know, it supports us at no extra cost to you kind of thing. So those are two very different messaging. You know, the first one didn't say anything about the fragrance because it doesn't matter what it smells like. It's all about what it can do for you. But it's really the difference between someone who's trying to give or someone who's trying to get. There's giving messaging and then there's getting messaging, right? And I think, again, a critical thinking viewer can tell the difference. So you just got to know when you're being given to and when you're being got. So you just got to be able to tell the difference. And it makes no difference getting mad at anybody for getting their bag and the way they're getting it. You just got to call it how it is.
That's well said. And I think with the critical thinking viewer, which is a smaller percentage than we would want it to be, unfortunately, I would hope if you see the bullshit, you then leave the bullshit. You don't have to get mad. You don't have to go back. You just don't watch that person anymore because you've now found the bullshit from them.
Yeah. And it's everywhere. Again,
it's all over the place in front of you.
Everywhere.
I'm not saying it's an overwhelming majority in this space. It is here.
Yeah.
But most people are really telling you what they think. And sure, if you're going to buy it anyway and you like the person and they have an affiliate link, most people, like for those of you that really like Justin, if you're going to buy something that he recommended, you want him to get a little piece of that because you like him, you appreciate his opinions, you jive with his taste, whatever it may be, or vice versa with me. And then there's other times where I'm going to hit, sorry for the F-bomb ahead of time, in my live streams. If we happen to, if you're going to go to Fragrance Buy's got it in stock, I'm going to put my link. Look, if you want to use it, that'd be great. I do make a small commission, or you tell me to go fuck myself, and it's all good either way. I literally do this in my live streams because at the end of the day, it'd be great if I make a small commission. Yeah. With Fragrance Buy, it's a very small commission. You know that. Yeah. But I just want to talk about it with you guys. We're just having the conversation because we genuinely love to have these conversations. Is there a chance for us to benefit? Sure. Is it the most important thing? Absolutely not. It's not at the top of the list.
No.
And that's the bullshit you got to sniff out, because for some people, that's number one. That's why they're making the content.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm glad you mentioned that. The why. Why would we continue doing this? And there could be several reasons, but where those reasons rank is going to be different for everyone.
There's nothing wrong with it being on the list, but it shouldn't be at the top.
Yeah. You know,
that's the wrong set of morals if it's at the top.
I did have this kid left a comment on one of my videos recently. In fact, I took a picture of it because it was interesting. And he said he's 16 years old.
Z Fragrances.
No.
No.
Is that, you're asking if it's Z Fragrance?
That was the name of the channel.
Oh, no, it was.
Because that's a young fella I've had ask me some advice recently.
Okay.
Yeah. Good kid.
So, well, first of all, Blaine put up this comment. If I watch people's videos that choose a fragrance for me, it's me with the problem. The opinions of the videos are just a guide, not the end all be all. That's a very level-headed way to look at it. Totally. Yeah, not the end all be all. This person said, I'm not going to reveal who they are, but it's public, so whatever. You can go look for it. Yo, bro, I'm very serious when I talk about this. I'm 16 years old. I do not want to struggle with money and work a 9 to 5. I want to make money now and enjoy life. I really am passionate about starting an online fragrance business. I have some cool ideas for the fragrances themselves, and I'm pretty positive I could pitch them very well on social media. I do have a couple of things keeping me unconfident. Should I create the fragrances myself or have a supplier make them? Should I ship them from my house or from a supplier? Is $700 enough to start my business? And most importantly, I'm afraid of failure. Can you give me some tips and word of advice, please? Thank you. Just kind of, there's a lot here.
I'm trying to fight back what I'm thinking because I don't know if you want me to say what I'm thinking.
I mean, go for it. Yes.
I blame his parents for that comment. Okay. I would like to formally, publicly blame his parents for that entitled, need it now attitude on why he wants to get going. Look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get your hustle on at a young age. That's the wrong outlook, though. That's the wrong. I love ambition in a young man, but that's the wrong outlook. If you see this, sir, I would realign your thought process on that. I'm not knocking the want for the hustle, but the approach and the reason for the why. I need it now. I can't fail. Yeah. Come on, man. That screams potential failure to me, by the way. Yeah. That's the wrong energy. That is the wrong mentality to go in with.
Yes. So
I apologize if anybody takes offense to that, but I had to say what I was thinking. I was going to burst if I didn't. You know.
So again, 16 years old. I agree with you, Ross. I did respond to him pretty lengthy.
Try to guide you, man.
This is what I said. I said, hey, man, this is a deep question, and it's too much to thoroughly answer here, but I'll do my best. If your goal is to make enough money to not have to work a 9 to 5 and enjoy life, I would not advise starting your own fragrance business as your sole source of income. That's something you'll want to start doing alongside a job because you need a job to fund your personal business until your business can gain some traction. That can take years because it's a very saturated market. So you need to be aggressively patient, aggressive with your work habit, and patient with the results. The second thing I'll say is that I wouldn't advise creating fragrances if your main motivation is to make money from them. I would advise creating them because you're passionate about them and you have some artistic ideas you'd like to express through scent. When you add something of sincere value to the market, you're rewarded for it. It's not what you get, it's what you give. In regards to failure, it's very natural to fear that, but know that failure is the only path to success. It is a part of the journey of an entrepreneur. It must be embraced. The people you see who are the most successful in their endeavors have just failed more than everyone else. In my opinion, $700 will not be enough money to pay a supplier to create fragrances for you, but it might be enough for you to educate yourself online about perfume creation, maybe even get some raw materials to get started with blending. All the best.
Very well said. You really tried to provide some insight and some help the young man with what you had to say, but that's not what he wanted to hear.
Oh, no, he didn't respond at all.
I'm sure.
But, you know, I would think I was standing in line at a Five Guys when I read this, and I was like, normally I wouldn't feel compelled to respond quite this intensely.
It hurt your soul a little bit with disappointment, because I'm disappointed. I'm not mad at the man for wanting to make some money. I'm just disappointed that that's the outlook, you know?
You know, I think I was at first, but I had to just keep putting the context together. I'm like, he's 16. He's a child. Not, I don't mean that in a derogatory way.
It's the truth.
It's just time and experience plays a big role. So, you know, I would say that for 16 years old, he's maybe a lot more forward looking than your average 16-year-old, because again, I do respect the hustle. I respect the vision. He's like,
the ambition's there.
Yes.
He's ambitious.
You know, he's at point A. He wants to get to point B. A lot of people are not really thinking about how I'm going to get to point B. They just want to be like, whatever this road is, I just want to enjoy it wherever I end up, whatever, you know. But him, it's like, okay, I respect that you're looking ahead over the horizon, but the journey from here to there is not what you think it is.
But boy, the line, and I don't want to wait. I was like, oh, well, that's not how it works, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, I don't know why that felt relevant to share.
But that was some good guidance that you tried to provide, because that is a reality statement and reply on if you're serious about doing this, you're going to need more resources, and that's going to require hard work, and you're going to struggle, and you're going to take loss. I'll give you guys a prime example. Mr. George, the heart office fell on his face hard twice, failed at what he's doing right now. Different circumstances led to it, and he learned. And it's one of the reasons he's so successful, so artistic, so driven about details and giving people value. Now, George Zaharoff is a prime example of what failure can turn into when you're relentless with your dream and your talents.
That's right. Yes. You keep getting back up no matter what. Having, you know, I just had the comment up here. Great comment. I think it really sums it up. I don't know why I just lost it. Your why has to be important enough to overpower the fear of failure, and to also overpower failure in general. What keeps you going? Why would you get up and try again? Whatever the answer to that question is up to you, and it's got to be a strong one.
Failure's a road bump if you're serious.
Yeah. Yeah. And it means you're going in the right direction. I mean, people who don't try don't fail. It's just what
failure is a successful person's greatest achievement. You have to learn to lose before you can learn how to win. It's just how it works.
That's right.
Nobody didn't. I can't say nobody. Very, very rarely do people just win right out the gate. They're successful for the rest of their life. Very rarely.
Oh, man. And even then, it's like keeping it, sustaining it is a whole different thing, because that takes maturity. And, you know, one of the most important things that anyone could do, if you are looking to be successful in some kind of endeavor, it doesn't matter what it is, the first thing you need to do is find someone who's doing what you want to do, has the results you want to have, and learn from them. Mentorship, man. It's all about, you know, following and shadowing people who are doing what you want to do in the way you would want to do it at a higher level than you can access yourself. Have access to resources and experiences that you you don't have yet, and they can give you advice on the pitfalls, things to watch out for. They can help you out of the valleys when you do fall in your face, because it's inevitable. You know what I mean?
I just thought of a fun one. Imagine recommending an internment to this gentleman, an internship.
An internship.
Imagine recommending him do something like that. No money, working for nothing, just for the experience and the guidance. I don't think that would be well received based on his initial comment. That's funny. That's why I started smiling. It popped in my head. Like, I wonder what this kid would say if you're like, an internship would be great for you, sir.
Yeah, as you said, not what he wants to hear.
No.
And, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I get it. But it's just the truth. Nothing can change that.
Yeah, Dave got engaged at Scent Explorer. Congratulating him. Did propose at Scent Explorer. Yep.
Dude, congratulations. That is amazing. Yep. I didn't hear
Jason brought it up so I could mention it.
That is amazing. I kind of forgot Scent Explorer just took place. I think I saw some pictures yesterday or the day before. It was just this past weekend, I think, right?
Yeah, it was 3 days, I believe.
Okay.
Max is going to buy a condo in 3 different states. It's 3 days this time. Oh, man. Shout out to Max. It's brilliant. It's huge now,
Damn.
Yeah, I ain't knocking him,
That is hilarious. Yeah. Wow.
I feel like I can't believe he said that.
That just rolled off the tongue effortlessly, man.
I just flow.
That is crazy. Man.
I'm glad it was successful for him again.
Yes.
It's going to keep going and keep getting bigger. It gets bigger every year.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to, Sir Siage, I want to thank you, because it is because of you that for the past 20-25 minutes, we went off on everything that was. And that is usually what you do when you come on.
It's his specialty.
We appreciate that. Thank you for the fuel.
And look, if we go too long without doing a stream, he brings it up. It happened earlier this year.
Yes.
He's like, what are y'all doing? When are y'all going to stream again?
That is amazing. Oh, man. Yeah, I see there's a lot of good feedback. You guys are kind of responding to this topic in some great ways. I definitely got to go in a few minutes here.
We had a great crowd, some fun topics and questions. Great fragrances. I highly suggest you guys check them out. Don't blind buy nothing we talked about here, please. They're all expensive. Half of them were sent to us.
Yeah, how it is.
Yeah,
and that's kind of just the nature of this.
But they are that good, just because they're not good because they were sent to us. They're just good.
They're just good. I mean, you can go do your research and get other people's takes on them, and you'll see how people think. It doesn't have to just be us. What? The Novice Knows had a super chat question. If I'm not, oh, I missed this. How did I miss this? My bad, dude. Thank you for the super chat. This was 10 minutes ago. Thank you for the super chat. What are thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for reminding me. What are 2 fragrances in your collection that you absolutely love, but your wife absolutely hates? So we went over one with Ross.
Overture Man. My wife told me not to wear anymore.
Yes. Okay, so that's one that she hates. What is one that you? I mean, I know there's a lot she loves, especially if you choose from designers and things. But
honestly, it comes down to 2 particular ones that she's just like. I gotta say 3 really, because rosé is panty droppers are a myth, but that one's close. She goes gaga when I wear rosé. But I would say Percival and Silver Mountain Water are probably her 2 favorites out of all of those.
Percival and Silver Mountain. Okay. Love it.
She loves those DNAs in general, but those 2 specifically are the favorites.
Respect it. Good stuff. For me, I'll choose these quickly, and then I gotta wrap it up. The one that Grace hates, and it makes me sad. And I still hold out hope. I'm never getting rid of the bottle. Gucci Guilty Absolute.
I forgot she hates that one. Oh, I love that fragrance.
I do too.
I've never gotten bad feedback from Heidi about that one, fortunately.
Really?
Not good feedback. I've got no feedback. I've gotten
that's a good
zero
thing.
feedback is better than bad feedback.
Yes, no news is good news in that case. Yes, Grace hates it. She just said it smells like. I think she once said it smells like dirty dirt. I'm like, dirty dirt.
Dirty dirt, not clean dirt, not clean dirt, not dirt fresh out the shower. Absolutely not.
Just like the dirtiest of dirt. I'm like, all right, okay. So one day,
this is dirt that a dog shit on.
Yeah. One day, I'm gonna keep wearing it. I'll wear it once a year, just as.
It's so good.
And I want to swear
for
one
all
day.
the times people before I got it were like, "Oh, this is daring. This is challenging." It makes me want to go back, reach through my screen, and backhand and be like, "What are you talking about? This is not a daring fragrance. This is a beautiful, dry, woody green leather." I don't think it's challenging at all, personally. Even if you're not used to those types of fragrances, I think it's actually, for the profile, rather approachable.
Yeah. It is not the edgiest leathery vetiver.
I was sold for years that when it comes to designers, this ain't for everybody, you know? And of course, it's not for everybody, clearly. It's hating. Dirty dirt. Beautiful, personally. It saddens me that you got to deal with that. That's a good one, man.
But Grace has been known to come around to things, and it has surprised me. So I'm gonna keep the bottle, and we'll see how she feels in like 5 more years.
Maybe after the baby, her sense will change a little bit. You never know.
You never know. Things do
Women's
change.
bodies, man, they go through some stuff.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And the one I would say that she absolutely loves. Gosh, there's many. The ones that she always says something every time I put it on. Labyrinth of Spices from Algabra is one that comes to mind. But this year, I haven't actually worn that one a ton this year. The one I've worn the most this year that she's always said something is Gambit from Mind Games.
Now we're talking.
She is about some Gambit. And me too.
So Muddy says, I agree with Grace. Want to swap wives? That's why I had like a weird look on my face just out of the blue. It was like,
Muddy, all right. You got love who you got. Love yours. It'll be all right. It'll be all right, man.
Wow. You went there.
I'm just saying, like
you suggested a wife swap.
Fragrance cannot be the end all for anything. So, but that's hilarious. Like
that was random. That was random question of the night.
Yes. To answer your question, Muddy, no, I do not want to. And I wish you and your wife the absolute best. And I hope that you find stuff that she really loves. Anyway, I think we're going to leave it there.
Yeah, let's leave on the awkward one. That's perfect. That's what I would do too.
We're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you for thank y'all for tuning in. Jared, as always, thank you for moderating as you do and being a part of just everything that we do and the way you do. We appreciate you. Every one of you guys who stuck around, 160 of you still here. Thank you for watching. Sir Siage, thank you for that topic fuel. Man.
Shout outs to our 16-year-old entrepreneur.
All the best. I genuinely mean that.
All the best. Happiness and success.
Yes. All the best. And Ross, thank you for spending your time on a Wednesday afternoon to be here and sharing these fragrances with us. And of course, sharing your flow with us.
Sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes it's awkward. Part of it. You never know what I'm going to say.
Man. But
like I really surprised Justin. Max is going to buy 3 condos in 3 different cities after this one.
Just comes out.
So Muddy said, unfortunately, my wife is 3 times your age. He's clearly joking and having fun.
Yes. And the way, and just your avatar, everything you say, and paired with your avatar, is just a whole different level, man. I just gotta say,
he's the vibe.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Lots of fun. I'm glad you were here, Muddy.
Yes. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Justin, all.
Thank you for having me. I always have a blast when we get to do anything, whether it's sharing a screen or standing next to each other, sharing our phones, or your camera and my phone. That's usually how we record.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it will be in the future. Next year.
It's coming.
Next year, we will be doing some side-by-side videos again. When? You won't know until you know, guys. But just know that will be happening next year.
That's right. When you
it
know,
will be
you
a
know.
trip or two to Chicago at some point.
It's happening. Things are going to come together real soon. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Whenever the next one is, we'll let you know, but we will see you in the next one. Y'all take care. Have a great Wednesday.